All right, in today's video, we're going to take this 1959 Chevy El Camino on its first drive. Now, this thing's been off the road for 29 years and was destined for the wrecking yard. Well, we spent the last year or two overhauling all the mechanicals. Today, we're taking on its first drive. Let's go. That's right, guys. The Hooligans Car Club is throwing the 4th annual Shakedown Car Show tomorrow, and they added a cruise night tonight. In about an hour, they're all meeting up in Finn's on Main Street. It's like a 50s style diner, and I want to take the 59 El Camino for its first drive. Now, other than driving it out here in the front yard once or twice since we got it running last week, we don't even know if this thing's going to make it to town or not. You know, it's a 30-minute drive just to town, and then we want to cruise around with the fellas and then be able to make it back. Well, it's a mystery if we're gonna even make it. So first thing I want to do is fire it up and kind of go through it, maybe check the timing one more time, check the tire pressure, and we're just gonna head out. Let me get some cameras set up and wish me luck, guys. Here we go. Now, if you guys watched the last video, we applied Poppy's Patina gloss clear coat, and it looks so good. Now, there is some good and some bad, you know, some pros and some cons. You know, I'd pointed out in the video that there were some dry spots where it got like streaks, like almost like brush strokes, where the material was too thin and got some like streaking action. It's really hard to see out here. And then there's also spots where the material got too thick and caused a few runs. Really big one here on the hood. You kind of see it here. Being that this is patina and it's already got a bunch of rust and stuff, you can't really see those flaws. But if you had a perfect paint job, I don't know if I'd apply the Poppy's Patina wipe on clear coat to it. Maybe if you sprayed it, it would have a more even look. But this wipe on, I think it's really meant for rat rods and patina look. But other than those few flaws, it really turned out great. It's got a nice shine. It's all protected, smooth, shiny. Everywhere else, it laid out really flat and good. So overall, with the price point, I'm happy with it. But now we need to see if this thing's actually going to take us to town. Let me pop the hood here. Oh. Just rained down some rust. Yeah, this thing was a rust bucket, and there's still a lot of rust in it, but we've fixed a lot of that though. Now this engine bay is looking great. Pretty much everything under here is brand new. The only thing was that we had that exhaust leak, and I filled that hole with a ball of tin foil that was jammed tight into that hole, and then I filled it with high temp exhaust JB Weld, and then let that cure for 24 hours, and then I added more JB Weld, sat a steel plate on there, and then hose clamped that steel plate down as a cap. So I'm hoping that'll hold it for us. We'll make a better fix when we have time, but for this first drive, hopefully that'll work for us. Man, looking beautiful under there. Now, I spent the last couple days going through the wiring, and I was able to get tail lights and a couple headlights. I haven't got the high beams in, but we do have headlights. Now, Oliver still has the headlight housings, and he's actually helping me fix those. But for the cruise tonight and the show tomorrow, I just went ahead and made up some metal adapters that I was able to mount the headlights into. I mean, if you were to look at them, they aren't pretty, but you don't even see that part. Unfortunately, I did mount them a little cockeyed, but I just hurried through it. I made these in like an hour and a half, but I was able to mount the headlight and wire them all in, and they do work. Eventually, I'll be able to get the right ones in here, and we'll get this all right, but for tonight, I think that's gonna work. And the tires still have slow leaks, but I've topped them all off. And so I'm gonna go ahead and get the camera set up in here and fire it up, warm it up. Hopefully we can make it to town, cruise with the fellas in the Hooligans Car Club and all the other guys that are going to be hanging out at Finn's tonight. It's kind of like a pre-registration or hangout before the actual show tomorrow. So this will be the first shakedown cruise and drive in the car. All right, let's fire it up and get it warmed up. looking and sounding good. And I only got a couple of gallons of gas in there, so I could go straight to a gas station. I mean, yeah, sounds really good with those glass packs. I threw my bike in there in case I break down. I have some transportation, an e-bike, but I think it's all ready. We're gonna head to town and get some gas and then head over to Finn's Diner. Let's go. So focused on everything right now. I adjusted the brakes today. They're a little better. All right. It's pretty smooth going down the gravel driveway. I did forget to put my side mirror back on after applying the Poppy's patina. I took it off to put that on. I forgot. And I could barely even see out this rear view mirror. It's toast. But she's pretty smooth going down this gravel road. All the potholes and everything. Woo! All right, brakes. Brakes are working. All right. I got my fingers crossed on this one, guys. I'm gonna stop at the bottom of my driveway and kind of go over everything once just to verify. I'm a bit nervous about this drive. I do not want to break down. I can't afford to tow. I don't want this thing stuck in the middle of the road anywhere. I tried to throw in a few basic tools. I threw a small air compressor, right through a small jack and spare tire. Fire extinguisher. I don't know. Fingers crossed. All right, it made it down the driveway okay. We're about to pull out onto the main road. I got water coming out the exhaust. Hope that's not nothing serious. But I don't see anything else dripping. All right, here we go. I'm in the wrong gear. To a rough start. I had some problems there. All right, obviously the speedometer cable needs to be replaced. Hopefully it doesn't break or cause any more issues than that, but that's going to be annoying. I got a new one. I just got to get up under the dash and replace it. Oh man. Okay, so issue one. Also coming out of the driveway onto the main road, I died, and then I had trouble getting it back into gear and getting it started up, so hopefully that's all the issues we had. Alright, to the gas station. I don't know what that was. I heard some kind of noise or rubbing when we made that left turn hard. Gas. Oh, there goes the speedometer cable. Maybe that's what it was. I think we just broke the speedometer cable. I heard some noises again underneath. I don't know what's going on. Oh, what is that? As the suspension fluctuated, I heard some creaking noises. I don't think my tires are rubbing. I need to get to the gas station though. I'm low on gas. Left turn, I'm hearing left turn and acceleration, I'm hearing noise. Oh, what is that? Something's not right. I'm gonna have to pull up here to the park. I'm gonna stop at the park up here and shut her off and look at it. It's like there's when I accelerate, I hear some kind of grinding. Especially when it articulates the suspension. There's a park up here I could pull into and take a quick look. What is that noise? Seems like when I go left, accelerate. It's hard to accelerate on this thing. The gas pedal is really stiff. Alright, I'm going to shut her off and take a look. Alright, I pulled over and stopped for a second to check out. So when I was making left-hand turns and accelerating, it's making this huge grinding noise, but I can't see anything wrong with it. I mean, visually, I don't see what would be hitting and kind of making a grinding sound. I don't see anything. I'm gonna get it back on the road and keep driving. crack, I'm thinking from the driveline as I accelerate, and also when the extreme suspension travel, like when I go over big bumps or dips in the road, it'll get a crack and pop from something that's rotating. It's got to be that driveline. Either U-joint is bad, or it's hitting something, maybe it's rubbing on something, or the transmission, it's a mystery transmission. Other than that, it's doing great. We made it, but not without issues. The driveline seemed to be rubbing. It was cracking and popping on the way here. Well, I got underneath and looked, and the carrier bearing bolts are gone. The carrier bearing had gone up into the X-frame. So we're still driving. The driveline's kind of rubbing. But I'm going to take a look around at some of these cars, and then Johnathan Wade of the Hooligans said I could just cruise over to his shop. He's just around the corner in a bit, and we'll see if we can't fix it there. So while we're here, let's go take a look at some cars. Now, I got her all parked up. Let's take a look at some of these cars. Like, this thing is super cool. Yeah. All right, really? Let's take a look around. There's a lot of cool stuff here. Cool military themed rat rod truck. Heck yeah. Now we're talking. Everything you need and nothing you don't. Oh, I love this. Now, that's what a clear coat's supposed to look like. Pretty wicked machines here. Johnathan Wade said we should head over to his shop. He's going to give us a hand trying to fix that drive line. Like I was saying, the carrier bearing, the bolts had fallen out of the carrier bearing, and the drive line's kind of just loose in the X-frame. We're going to try to limp it over to there and see if we can't fix it. Let's go. All right, here we are at a secret undisclosed location, also known as Johnathan Wade from the Hooligan Shop, which is going to be here shortly. And hopefully we can get this carrier bearing reinstalled. I'm going to check out Jonathan's Roadster he's been building. This thing's pretty sick. Low. We're getting ready to flat tow it over to the show for in the morning. A little sketchy. But then I'm gonna pull the car inside the bay and see if we can get that fixed. All right, we got her in the shop, got her pulled in the bay, and got her up. And I'm gonna climb under there and try to get that drive line dropped down and reset that carrier bearing. I think Jonathan's got the right bolts I need. I have to dig through here and find the right ones and get that reinstalled. Try to get this thing back home before it gets dark, because I'm not sure if the headlights work. I got them to flip on, but then they start flickering. I need to give that a test again, because we got maybe an hour before it gets dark. Let's try to get this fixed.
2 hours later.
All right, I think I got it. Fairly easy. I just got up under there, dropped the drive line, reached in the X member and situated that carrier bearing right in the position it needs to be in. Jonathan had the bolts I needed, put them in. I think it's ready to go. Let's fire it up and pull it out. she didn't make any noise backing out, so I'm pretty sure that fixed it. It's getting a little dark out. Well, the sun's starting to go down. We better get heading home. I'm gonna lock up for Jonathan, and we're gonna hit the road. All right, we got her fixed, I think. It's not making noise at the moment. We got it all bolted back up. We'll see. I thought I had it bolted up tight the first time, so I don't know why they fell out, but maybe I didn't. I know I was supposed to, or I was gonna wait till it was back on the weight of the suspension before I tightened them all the way. So maybe I forgot to do that. But we got it bolted up. It sounds like it's working now, and we're gonna head home. It feels really weird driving a car without seat belts. Making the noise. I think we solved the problem. And now we just cruise home before it gets dark. You know, other than those carrot bearing bolts missing and that driveline grinding and rubbing, this thing's running great. Alright, let's head home. Alright guys, almost home at the bottom of my driveway. I couldn't shift down into first, so I got out and looked under the hood, and my shift rod going to my transmission for the first and reverse had come loose as it's hanging, and I can't get it underneath the car right here. I did turn on the headlights. It's getting a little dark. I'm gonna go up the driveway. It's like a mile, a little less. See if the headlights stay on the whole time. I'm gonna have to start off in second and ride it out of here. But then I can make a repair and figure out why that came loose. I guess this is part of the shakedown. Let's try to get this up the driveway. Hey, we got dash lights. Oh, there goes my headlights. See, there's flickering. I don't know why they're doing that. Oh man. Alright, let's get this thing up the driveway. I think we're stuck in second gear. Headlights back on. I don't know why they only last a moment and then they start flickering. I have to figure that out. Yeah, there they go. Now they're flickering. Huh. Alright, well, we got a few repairs to do. Let's just get this thing home. Yeah, I don't even know what gear I'm in. This is all floppy. I don't know. I can't get it. I can't switch any gears. I'm in a gear and that's the gear we're in. It's either second or, I mean, either, yeah, second or third. All right. I got some repairs to do. All right, we made it. That was somewhat of a success. You know, we had a few issues that we have to work out. Here, let me get in some light so you can see me. It's kind of dark out there, but we made it back. You know, thanks to Johnathan Wade at the Hooligans for letting me use his shop. It took about 20 minutes and I was able to get under there and fix that carrier bearing and successfully drive it home. Of course, then we ran into a second issue coming up the driveway with the shift rods that came disconnected. Well, one of them did. So I climbed under there and temporarily reconnected it so I could get it here in the garage. First thing in the morning, I'm gonna have to go under there and fix that because tomorrow morning's the 4th annual shakedown, and we're driving this thing back to town and putting it in the 4th annual shakedown, hopefully without any more issues. But if that's all that we have issues is just that shift rod falling down and a couple bolts falling out of the carrier bearing, and I was able to fix all that, then we should be good. Hopefully that's all the problems we had. But despite all that, everybody really loved this there at Finn's hangout. Had a few people checking it out. Everybody seemed to like the Poppy's patina clear coat. A lot of people had been watching the series, so they were stoked to see it there running and driving. And another thing I've noticing, the windshield has like a haze, as you can see that. Now I've cleaned this several times and that didn't come off. That's been there since I got the car. I've seen this before, like maybe somebody had plastic over this, and when the plastic and the UV, it messes with the glass. I don't know. I'm gonna try some vinegar, or maybe some of the acid that you could use on glass. Try to get some of that. It's kind of like etching, not necessarily from water, but from a plastic being on here. So hopefully we get that polished out of there. That's something I was noticing. And I also had some issues with the headlights. So we're gonna have to get that all worked out. Let me show you the lights that I got going so far. We'll just do running lights, key on. And that gives us the tail lights that we got mostly working. This one's been putting up a fight. I had it working, but it stopped working again. It's just not getting a very good connection. But heck yeah, those are some cool tail lights. And then with the running lights, we also get these, which I just put in new lenses, new bulbs, looking good. And at the headlights, you know, like I was saying earlier, Oliver's still working on those housings. I made shift some really rough adapters to make this all pull together. Unfortunately, I drilled the holes a little cockeyed, so both those eyes have a little gangster lean on them. But with that, we got headlights. But like I was saying, you know, we get headlights for about a minute or so, and then they started doing this flickering thing. So we're gonna have to get that worked out. I did pick up a cheap Amazon universal wiring kit, so we'll be able to rewire this when we get time and get that all sorted out. We also got blinkers. I did notice we had dash lights as well. There's a blinker. Yeah. And well, now you can see the headlights, they're doing their thing. That's what they do. They start twitching out. So if you guys know why they're doing this. They only stay on for about a minute, and then they start doing this little twitchy thing. I got the blinker on, that's not helping. Turn the blinker off. But yeah, check them out. This is... And my amp gauge is bouncing all over the place when it's doing this too. It doesn't affect the tail lights or anything else though. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of flickering just because of the pulsating of power, but I don't know what's going on in those headlights, but we'll get this rewired if we have to and solve that issue. But until then, I just won't be driving at night. But I will be driving in the daytime. And as a matter of fact, tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., we'll be in Springfield at the 4th annual shakedown. Driving this 59 El Camino that's been off the road for 29 years. And we did it, guys. We got it back on the road. I'm trying to relish in it, but at the same time stressing on working out all these little bugs. But I think we got those figured out, and tomorrow should be a successful day. So do me a favor, hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video. And well, be sure to hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment, like the video and share. And well, until next time, peace.